I'm Brittany Lewis, a reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is ForbesLife editor, Michael Solomon. Michael, thank you so much for joining me on this exciting day.
Great to be here.
Of course, as you know, it's one of the most exciting days in entertainment news. The Oscar nominations are out, and Everything, Everywhere, All at Once leads with 11 nominations. Are there any surprises that you saw this morning?
There are always big surprises. I think everybody thought that Everything Everywhere All at Once was going to be one of the big winners of the day. Clearly it was. I think people expect big things on Oscar night. There are always surprises. A lot of the surprises come based on people's personal feelings, on the movies they loved personally. We're all film critics, right? We all go to the movies. We all think that was the best performance of the year. That was the best movie. Oh, I hated that movie. So a lot of it is based on that. But there are some legitimate snubs. There are some legitimate questions about why some people weren't nominated. But listen, there are 5 spots for each major category, 10 in the Best Picture category. Some people are going to have their feelings hurt.
Let's talk about those snubs specifically. Something that went immediately viral after the nominations was that there weren't any women nominated for Best Director. What do you think?
So listen, this has been a long-standing complaint about the Academy Awards. Women have traditionally been shut out of Best Director. This goes back decades. In this particular case, many people felt that Sarah Polley should have been nominated for Women Talking. It was nominated for Best Picture. Again, 10 Best Pictures, 5 slots for Best Director. 5 people are upset. It's kind of hard to argue that the 5 who are nominated, and technically 6 because Everything Everywhere All at Once has 2 directors, it's hard to argue that the 5 nominees were not the right ones because those films were nominated for Best Picture. But Sarah Polley was nominated for Best Screenplay. My guess is the Academy makes it up to her in Best Screenplay. But this is something that goes back it goes back decades. The one I remember most was Barbra Streisand was not nominated for Prince of Tides in the late 90s. Film had 7 Oscar nominations, and she didn't get a Best Director nod. And everyone said, that film direct itself? But what are you going to do? You know, there are only 5 spots.
You mentioned that they could make it up to her in a different way. Is that normal?
So the Academy Awards famously make things up to people in different ways. 2 of the people who are nominated this year in Best Supporting Actress are kind of the make-good nomination win. 2 of the favorites in Best Supporting Actress, Angela Bassett, Jamie Lee Curtis. A lot of people felt Angela Bassett should have won all those years ago for What's Love got to do with it. Her performance as Tina Turner. Jamie Lee has, of course, been in Hollywood for 45, 50 years. So people really feel like one of those 2 women should win, and it's kind of a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Is this shaping up to be an exciting Oscars? Because aside from Jamie Lee Curtis, we have Austin Butler, Ke Huy Quan, Brendan Fraser, and Michelle Yeoh as first-time acting nominees.
Best Actor is kind of a 3-way race this year. You got Brendan Fraser for The Whale, you've got Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin, and you have Austin Butler for Elvis. It's really a 33% odds for all of them at this point. What'll tip it is the SAG Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards. Look for who wins that.
Did it help Austin Butler's case that he won the Golden Globe?
You know, people think the Golden Globes help. Sometimes that can work against you. Sometimes Academy voters think the Golden Globes got it completely wrong, and they want to correct that mistake at the Academy Awards. Here's what's interesting about Austin Butler. It's kind of a strange thing, and this is what makes the Oscars a little hard to predict sometimes. Lisa Marie Presley's death, will that play a role in Austin Butler's nomination? Do people want to see him win and have a kind of Oscar moment, thank Lisa Marie, thank the Presley family? It's possible. But really, Brendan Fraser has long been the favorite all season long. We'll see where it goes.
Let's continue to break down some of the more main categories. We just did actor in a leading role. Now let's do actress in a leading role. We have Cate Blanchett in Tar, Ana de Armas in Blonde, Andrea Riseborough in To Leslie, Michelle Williams, The Fabelmans, Michelle Yeoh, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
This is really a 2-person race at this point. The 2 favorites are Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett. Again, I can make the case either way right now. I would wait till the Screen Actors Guild Awards to really see how that race is going to shake out. But here's an interesting one, and this shocked a lot of people today. This is one of the surprises of the morning. Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie. Not only is this a film that nobody saw, and when I say nobody saw it, here's how much it made at the box office. $27,000.
Wow.
It cost more than $27,000 to take out an ad for your consideration to win an Oscar. So nobody has seen this movie, but here's how she got the nomination. Many famous actresses in Hollywood, many famous actors in Hollywood went to bat for her in award season. Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Aniston, a lot of people held screenings. They wanted people to see this movie, see her performance, and she got the nomination.
Is her performance worth it?
Who has seen her performance? We will all now have to go Google this movie and see how to stream it. Nobody has seen this movie. If you're one of the people who paid the part of the $27,000, you are a lucky winner today.
Wow. Well, I definitely will, after this, Google how to stream that. But now let's move on to actress in a supporting role. Angela Bassett, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Hong Chow, The Whale. Kerry Condon, The Banshees of Inisherin. Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Stephanie Hsu, also Everything Everywhere All at Once.
So as we discussed, I think this is a two-way race again. I think Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis are likely the two favorites. I would, right now, I think it's probably Angela Bassett's. We will see. Angela Bassett's had an extraordinary career. This is the first time that an actor in a Marvel movie has been nominated for an Oscar. So it's a big moment. I like her chances right now. I'd like to just sort of see how the award season shakes out.
I was going to mention that she was the first nomination for Marvel in an acting category. Do you think this is going to give those superhero movies more weight?
No. And I'll tell you why. Superhero movies typically don't get nominated the same reason that blockbuster movies don't get nominated for acting. They're not really acting performances. They're major movies, right? I mean, look at Tom Cruise. People feel that Tom Cruise was snubbed this year for Best Actor. Movie stars historically don't get nominated. Actors get nominated for Oscars. It's really an acting award. What's the difference between a movie star and an actor? Let's talk about it historically. Cary Grant was never nominated. Cary Grant never won an Academy Award. Robert Redford never won a competitive acting Academy Award. Paul Newman never won a competitive acting award until he'd already received an honorary Oscar. There is a long history of this. And then there are those actors who are movie stars who win for directing. So you have a Mel Gibson or a Clint Eastwood or a Kevin Costner, but they don't get the credit for their acting. They get the credit for their directing.
Why is that?
The Academy favors serious actors, and in a way, movie stars aren't considered actors. And this is one of the big problems with the Oscars over the years. People feel like their favorite actors and actresses never win. And, it's one of the reasons why people are really excited to see Top Gun nominated for Best Picture this year, because it's rare that a big blockbuster gets nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, that harkens back to the Leonardo DiCaprio days of him never winning. Also, since Top Gun Maverick is nominated, do you think that there is now the Academy's kind of paying homage to movies that are performing well in the box office?
I think they're trying. I think, you have two major blockbusters nominated for Best Picture this year. Top Gun is one, Avatar is the other. Listen, I would like to see what the odds are for Top Gun as we get closer to Academy Awards night. It might be an interesting bet based on the odds. It might be one of those shocking upset wins. But right now, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once looks like the favorite for Best Picture.
And do you think Top Gun Maverick was nominated for Best Picture just because it blew the box office away?
I think it frankly saved the box office this year. I think it did far more than blowing it. I think the movie industry is enormously grateful for what Tom Cruise did to make this movie, to hold this movie for years until it was ready to be shown in theaters. And the box office performance and now the nominations really show that he was right. And I think the Academy has rewarded him for that. If Top Gun were to win Best Picture, he would win an Oscar, but for producing.
Interesting. Well, we will definitely keep an eye out. Now for actor in a supporting role, you think this one's a lock?
I think you can start engraving Ke Huy Quan's name on the award right now. If you remember, he was a child actor. He starred in Goonies. He was Data. He starred as Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It's a great story. He walked away from his acting career for 20 years. He was working on films, but not in films. And this is an extraordinary performance. He has swept every award so far, and I'd be shocked if he's not holding an Oscar at the end of the night.
I mean, he was delightful in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I do think it would be well deserved. But both Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress have two actors nominated from the same film, Banshees, as well as Everything Everywhere All at Once. Is this normal?
Oh, for sure. In fact, it's one of the hallmarks of films that tend to sweep the Oscars. Everything Everywhere All at Once, 11 nominations. You need those multiple nominations to really get to that Best Picture win. So I think there are a lot of great performances in that movie. I think it's deserving of all the nominations it got. And I think it'll have a really good night. I think we'll see as we get closer and we get deeper into award season how well it'll do. But right now, I would predict a big night for that movie.
And why, when you're saying let's look forward to different awards nights, why do we have to do that?
So here's the thing. I've said this for many years. Here's the secret to winning your Oscar pool. It's two things. The first thing you have to do is bet with your head, not with your heart. And here's what I mean by that. If you hear yourself saying, oh, but I loved her performance. Oh, but that was my favorite movie. Oh, but he was so good in that, you're probably going to lose. That's not how the Oscars work. Your feelings have no place in betting on the Oscars. It would kind of be like betting on the Super Bowl based on which city you prefer over the other. It's kind of an irrelevant fact. So get your feelings out of the way when making Oscar predictions. The second thing gets to the question you asked, and that is, why do the other award ceremonies matter so much? And here's why. The Academy Awards are based on voting in each category, meaning actors vote for actors, directors vote for director, costume designers vote for costume designers, editors vote for editors, and so on. The one category that's open is Best Picture. So the way I can predict the Oscars every year, the way anyone can predict the Oscars every year, is if you look at these other Guild Awards. So if you look at the Screen Actors Guild Awards, if you look at the winners of the Directors Guild Award, the Writers Guild Award, etc., you're going to really get a clearer Oscar picture. You're going to be about 80 to 90% of the way there. There are always surprises. It doesn't always play out that they're the winners of each duplicate, but in general, they do. Sometimes people aren't nominated for one of those awards, and so that makes it a little tricky. Banshees of Inisherin, for instance, will probably not be nominated for a Writers Guild Award due to technicality, but it's one of the favorites to win Best Original Screenplay. So you got to look at those awards. As those awards come down the pike in the next couple of weeks, that'll start to fill in who's likely to win at the Oscars.
I do want to pick your brain about Best Director. Who do you think's winning in that category?
So this is kind of a two-way race as well. It's been set up all season long. I think Spielberg was the favorite for The Fabelmans, which is his autobiographical movie. I think right now the Daniels, the two men who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, look to be the favorites based on all the nominations that film got. But listen, Hollywood historically is in love with Hollywood. Movies about movies historically do really well. Movies about entertainment in general do really well. So I wouldn't count Fabelmans out just yet, but it looks to be an Everything Everywhere All at Once win, and right now the Daniels are looking pretty good.
I do want to take a step back here. The Fabelmans had Oscar buzz before it even came out, but Everything Everywhere All at Once came out in March, which usually Oscar contenders don't come out that early, and it was more slow to pick up steam there. So what factors in when you're talking about a movie generating Oscar buzz?
So I think that's a great point. Oscar-winning movies and Oscar-nominated movies typically come out in the fall. Summer's fun, and then we go back to school and we get serious after Labor Day and all the big movies come out. And that's really where The Fabelmans landed. Everything Everywhere All at Once, as you mentioned, was a spring movie. It had a big word of mouth. It was just one of those slow burn movies that people said, you got to see it, you have to see it. Not everyone loved it, but it was such a different movie, such an interesting movie, such great performances, that it just had this build throughout the spring, throughout the summer, into the Oscar season. And it got the nomination based on, really great performances, a really original movie, a really original script, and the word of mouth has just been terrific.
And I do want to continue to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once. That got 11 nominations. Was there a lot of competition this year?
Oh, there are a lot of movies. Listen, there are a lot of movies that people feel were left out. There are a lot of performances that were left out. But when you only have 5 spots, it's really hard for everyone to get a nod. But listen, Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of those movies that, people had high hopes for, I'm sure. But I don't think when they released it that they had any expectation it would rack up 11 nominations.
I'm excited for that one. It was really fun and fun for all ages, too. But let's talk about the Oscars this year, the ceremony. Do you think more people will be tuning in because of the drama last year surrounding Will Smith and the infamous slap?
I think it's still fresh in people's minds, and I think people want to know. Listen, it came up at the Golden Globe Awards. Eddie Murphy made a hilarious joke about it, perhaps inappropriate, but everyone laughed. So, yeah, do I think people are going to tune in to watch that? And listen, we talked about it. Best Actor is one of those categories. It's a three-way race. That's a big deal to see who's going to win the Best Actor award after last year and Will Smith. So, yeah, I think people are going to tune in. And I think it helps this year that the Oscars do have movies that people actually saw. For every movie that grossed 27,000 at the box office, there's $2 billion, Avatar at the box office as well.
I know it was exciting to see Top Gun Maverick because that's one I think everyone could check off their box. They did see.
It's a movie people saw multiple times, so that, Avatar as well. So there are these movies that are quite popular, and then there is always the independent movies. The independent movies typically do quite well at the box office. The independent movies typically do quite well at the Academy Awards because those are the performances.
Michael Solomon, thank you so much.
Thank you.